If you're thinking about starting your own service-based business, there's something you should know. A lot of people that do this fall into a kind of trap where they're living the same day over and over and over, like Groundhog Day, and they're like stuck dealing with the same problems, you know, every single day. It's like a grind. And then they're thinking, gosh, this is making it really difficult to grow my company bigger and to scale. Meanwhile, they look over and they see a few other people that are like growing their business with ease. And what's the difference between these two business owners? Well, we're gonna get to that in this video, but first, welcome back to the Security Bros. I'm Ken, this is my brother James. What's the deal between somebody who is running a smooth business where things actually get easier and easier and somebody who is having the same struggles every single day?
Standardization, or just setting standards, optimizing a workflow.
Okay, so what does that look like?
Let me tell you what it doesn't look like to start.
Okay.
So the temptation here, which you briefly mentioned in the beginning, what is that you want to focus on the things that seemingly make you money. So it's, you know, making the sales, getting the project together, getting the project knocked out, invoicing, whatever, all that stuff. The problem is that might work in the beginning, but as you grow, that becomes a problem. Say you have a few people on your team out there doing whatever service you're providing, and they're all doing it their own way. So you got 5 guys or gals, and they're doing it 5 different ways. That becomes a problem. And the more you scale, that becomes a bigger problem.
Yeah, because now you're trying to scale problems.
Right. In our industry, in the security world, every technician kind of has their own way of, say, like wiring up an access control system. Maybe one panel you go into and it's all nice and neat and labeled and beautiful. Well, the next one is just a mess. Having a standard where, oh, every single one we're gonna label this way, we're gonna bring the wires in this way, or take time to figure out the efficiency for your product that you're offering. Take the time to figure out how exactly you want it done. That way you can train people.
The reason this is such a temptation, and it's really easy to fall into this trap, is because when you first start a business, you actually shouldn't be thinking about things like standardization. Especially if it's just yourself, you gotta focus on getting the sale.
Right.
Like, don't distract yourself with all these other things. I gotta figure out this process. I gotta figure out, you know, my CRM and my email and what phone and my colors and my fonts and what my branding colors will be. You don't need all of that. Getting started with registering your business and make the sale. Like, that is maybe one of the biggest pieces of advice that successful people will give you is if there's no money exchanged, there's no point. Get some money exchanged, provide a service, and then at some point, you're gonna find that it becomes harder to grow. And at that point, boom, fix the processes. Because you actually have business to process. Doing what you're talking about happens a little later. It's easy to miss it because you don't know when you're supposed to take the time to work on that. Because if you're going to take time to work on that, you're probably taking time away from doing something like making a sale,
Right.
which seems dumb, but it has a big payoff because that means every sale you're making has like maybe a 2 or 3x boost.
Because not only does it make you look better to your customer if you have a consistent product that you're offering, but it also just makes things way easier. If you know you come in and you do something the same way every single time, it's like cookie cutter, let's go. You don't have to spend a lot of time thinking about how you're doing it. You're probably busy trying to manage everything, figure everything going on. So taking the time, if you don't have a standard for the way you're doing things, and like actually slowing things down to figure that out, can feel like a waste of time.
I, a lot of times, don't make an official process until I'm ready to hire somebody to take over a piece of what I do. They need to know, well, what do I need to do? How do you want me to do it? That's a process.
Right.
Here's your job responsibilities, and then I have to work through that. Sometimes with the first person I'll hire, I end up having to work through the process that they'll need to go through to accomplish these tasks. And that fits into a workflow, which means I also have to think about how other processes are going to tie into that and make the necessary adjustments.
Not really a sports guy, but do a sports metaphor here. If you're, say, on a football team, I look at it kind of like the plays that they run. Everyone on the team, they all know the play. They're like, oh, we got the sale. We're ready to go install this security system. We're doing play number 2. Everyone goes and does it. Everyone's on the same page. everyone knows exactly what we're going to do here.
One thing we did recently when building out, designing a job, which then becomes a quote to the clients, one of the repeat questions that I would get from our project coordinator is, how long should this job be scheduled for? Is this like a 2-day thing? Is it 1 week, 4 week? What should I do here? So I incorporated something called the ETI, estimated time.
This, yes.
Yeah, estimated time to install. Meaning at the very top of the job, like the back end information, it just says ETI. That's the first thing.
Yep.
ETI equals 4 days, or ETI equals 1 week, 10 days, whatever. And now I no longer get the question of how long should I schedule the job for.
Right.
It may seem like a small thing, but now that's one question every day that I don't have to be asked about stuff.
Right.
It just happens.
Yeah, it seems like something so small, but that saves what? Even if it's like 30 seconds or a minute worth of conversation, it's just done.
Yeah, well, it's one less interruption every day.
Right, exactly.
Or 2 less a day.
That's a good way of putting it, is one less interruption. On the install side of things, there's a specific way that all the systems get wired. Every single time somebody goes in, the cables come in a specific way, they all get labeled a specific way, and they all get braided so they're all nice and neat. You always leave enough slack to each cable can go anywhere in a panel. So that way, if anything needs to get rewired down the road, you don't have to splice and do all this kind of stuff and make it a mess. And so that way, if anyone goes back at a later date to do some service, it just makes the whole thing super easy. So not only does it look neat, but it's a standard that's also very practical and beneficial to now and down the road.
Whenever James says down the road, he doesn't actually mean down the road. He means sometime in the future. And if you like things in the future, why don't you go ahead and like this video so we know, and share it so your friends know.
Bye.